Hi everyone, this is Rebecca, and today I have a quick and easy presentation of the vocabulary words for primary and common colors in the French language. I did want to make one note that I will be giving the definite article, which is le, in front of each of the words. This is because I'm presenting them as a noun. So if you were to say my favorite color is blue in French, if you were to literally translate that, you would actually say my favorite color is the blue. That's just the structure that you need to follow. So if you remember in some of my other videos, articles are very important in French, and knowing the gender of nouns is very important. Luckily, all of the colors are masculine. So the gender we'll see over and over again is le for the. And of course, that's just because I'm presenting them as noun forms. If I were to present the colors as adjectives, we wouldn't need that article and they might change, but I can go into that in another video. So let's get into the colors. Red, le rouge, le rouge. Orange, l'orange, l'orange. Yellow, le jaune, le jaune. Green, le vert, le vert. Blue, le bleu, le bleu. Purple, le violet, le violet. Pink, le rose, le rose. White, le blanc, le blanc. Black, le noir, le noir. Brown, le marron or le brun. Le marron, le brun. Gray, le gris, le gris. And now I wanted to give you some helpful hints that you probably know or could use some clues already to know these words in French. So a lot of our colors are related to French vocabulary for colors. And so that's what I put together here just to kind of show you how closely they're related. So for le rouge, depending on how young you are, you may or may not know that earlier in the 1900s, blush or blusher, which is makeup that you put on your cheeks, usually it's pink or rosy colored. Some like my grandmother would have called it rouge. That's how she would have said it in English. She would say, I need some rouge. So that is obviously related to the color red in French. For orange, obviously it's the exact same word as in English, said differently. And I say orange different than my husband says orange. And in French, it's l'orange. Le jaune. This is related to the word for the medical condition jaundice. If you've ever heard of a baby being born with jaundice, it's a very common condition. I think it has something to do with their liver kind of getting up and running after birth. And so they're not filtering everything through their liver. And whatever toxins are remaining are causing their skin to turn yellow. So many people, when they have babies, learn about jaundice, and it's obviously very related to the word for yellow in French, le jaune. So most of us will know about the state called Vermont, which is an eastern state up very north, touching Canada. Vermont is actually one of the states where a fair amount of the population speak French as a second language. And what I love about Vermont is if you look at the name and if you look at the sign, it kind of clues you into it. So vert refers to green, and mont refers to un mont or la montagne or mountains or mountainside. So literally green mountains. The Green Mountain State, Vermont, le vert. Le bleu. This one, I don't know if it's as common nowadays, but when I was learning French, The stereotypical exclamation you would hear was "Sacre bleu." And I don't know the exact reasoning behind this phrase. I've heard that it might refer to blue cheese as sacred cheese because the French love their cheese. And I've also heard that it's not very commonly used. But if you know this phrase, or if you've heard someone say this phrase, "Sacre bleu," there you go. You know the word for blue. Le violet, obviously, the same word that we use in English for violet, referring to a purple flower. Similarly, we have le rose for pink, which is often a pink flower, and rosé wine is pink wine. So there you go. Leblanc. So depending on your age, again, if you know Matt LeBlanc, most famous, I think, from Friends, his name means the white or the white one or something like that. It's really interesting to me how languages use the word white for a name. So this refers to the white or the white one, but I have an Aunt Blanca who is Puerto Rican. We're Puerto Rican, and so that means white. If you know anyone named Bianca in Italian, that's calling that's the word for white. And then if you know a Blanche, that is the French word for an adjective describing white, and that's a common American name, at least it used to be. So that's something in all three Romance languages that Americans are most familiar with, and I think many of us are familiar with Matt LeBlanc, but if we were saying it in French, Le Blanc. Le noir for black. An easy one, depending on your age, is if you know the idea of film noir. So many movies made in the, I think, 1930s, maybe early 40s, were these crime kind of suspenseful films in black and white, often with Humphrey Bogart. And that genre is called film noir, referring to the black and white and kind of the mystery surrounding it. So if you know film noir, you know noir. Le marron, le brun. This one I put two because brown is actually kind of tricky. So the description for le brun would most likely be used for talking about a hair color. So, like, that's where we get the English word for brunette. Le marron actually refers to the chestnuts from a tree. Um, so that is used to describe brown in general, but oftentimes if you're talking about hair color, le brun or brune as an adjective. And finally, we have le gris. This one was hard for me to come up with a common close relative in English. So I have this picture saying just listen to it. So closer to anything else, this sounds like gray. Le gris, gray. Le gris, gray. So there is some similarity there. So I hope that you enjoyed this presentation and that it taught you something, and let me know what you think down below. I will see you next time. Au revoir.